Hello. Hi there. How are you doing? Welcome to another episode 3 of the Digital Quill Podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. I might have found it, guys. I might have found the thing that I start with every episode. I was wondering if I would. Still wondering if that's even the thing, but I think that's the thing. I feel like it feels good, you know? There's a couple of podcasts I listen to regularly, especially following a very particular drama in Hollywood. I'm thinking of talking about it. I don't know if I should, but I'm thinking of talking about it. But I've been following these podcasters, and they each have their like starting and ending thing, minus their own like weird little intro. And I guess that's just like the MO for podcasting and things like that. But I'm starting from the bottom. We'll see where this goes, if I even stick to a weekly schedule or somehow decide that this isn't for me. But so far so good, I think. Today's episode is episode 3 of the Digital Quill Podcast. And I wanted to keep it short. I hope it's short, honestly. I have a lot to be getting to, but we're going to talk about a few things, some upcoming episodes, a little bit of, again, like kind of why I'm doing this, because since this is the very beginning, the very foundation of the Digital Quill Podcast, I might as well, get the building blocks ready. If there's only like 5 listeners anyway, what difference does it make? It's kind of like a cozy little hangout here. And I'm virtually talking to myself because this isn't live, so, I don't know. Maybe one day it will be, but right now, I'm very uncomfortable behind this microphone, and until I'm not, which just takes a little bit of practice, I've found, here we are. Here's what we're doing, and we're not changing it for shit. We'll change it a little bit. We do listen, but not very well. I am very much a fuck around and find out kind of person. If that hasn't been obvious with how I just kind of jump into things blindly, well, there you have it. Hi, I'm a fuck around and find out kind of person, and I have said that in a last episode, and I try to keep it family friendly. Can't believe I remembered that. Gosh, there's so much that's been happening. But, I'm a mess around and find out type. I like going in with limited amount of knowledge and then asking all the questions afterwards. All of the questions. Every single question possible. I have to shut up sometimes because I do annoy people with my constant questioning. It's knowledge seeking. I'm like that little fox thing and that one. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Sometimes I stutter. I don't know if it's an autism thing or an ADHD thing or like a brain injury thing, but it's at least one of those or all of those. Who knows? Who knows? I've learned to like it. You should too. I'm kidding. You should do whatever you feel like doing. But I'm like that knowledge seeker in one of those episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, as I like to shorten it for conversation's sake, Atla. And I don't know if that would like get me canceled by the Avatar: The Last Airbender community, but I'm sorry. I also kind of like the way that Atla sounds when talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like Atla, like it's very cute. I like it, and I don't like to say cute out loud because it makes me feel strange, but whatever, it's cute. It's cute. I will stand by that. That is definitely a hill I will die on. The other things that we are talking about today, before I get off track entirely, the upcoming episodes, community, kind of why I like want to do this and why I'm doing this. So like the building blocks, the foundation, a little bit of my like kind of, I guess, brand things, which the brand is me, by the way. I am my brand, the Digital Quill Media, the Digital Quill Press, like the whole family. That's my thing. That's me. Like that's my heart and soul, my energy. So if you're reading this or watching this or whatever this, like you are a part of me at that point. I'm sorry. I am really sorry about that. Life is a beautiful and chaotic mess sometimes, isn't it? But yeah, the upcoming episodes, why I'm doing this, we're gonna kind of talk about Substack and like the writing portion, like kind of where this all began, because I took a little bit of dumpster diving into my past, and dumpster diving it sure is. And I was like looking at all my old posts, and I was like, holy crap! I started my Substack in 2021. Wow, what was she doing back then? Not living her best life, that is for sure. But yeah, that's definitely one of the things that's going to be coming up. One of the reasons I wanted to initially start my podcast is, I don't know if you remember in the first episode on how I wanted my newsletter to be, what was it, like 25 cents or 50 cents? I can't remember. I think I wanted to start 25 cents, but 50 because inflation prices. No, I'm kidding. That's a horrible thing to say, but also accurate. But yeah, I wanted it to be cheap and accessible to everybody. And I do mean everybody. So one of the things that I'm gonna do is, when I initially decided that I was in fact going to make a podcast, when I initially started the Substack, I was like, eventually I'll have an audio version, because that's the way the world is going. It's going towards podcasts. People don't really have the time or the energy or the space to read anymore, and reading is starting to become popular again, I think, but also it's not as popular yet. Podcasts are, because they're easy. Like, you can easily listen to people. It's easy to have conversation format based podcasts with like guests and friends and all sorts of things. Like, it's truly the way of the future on some level. We'll get into those topics for sure another time, because those are big things to actually talk about, and like I am a little bit passionate about it, if you can't tell based off my slightly excitement. My hands started moving a lot more in my conversation, and I hate when that happens. It's distracting to me sometimes. But with that being said, when I initially started the Substack, I was like, I know I'm going to have to go podcast one day. And a couple weeks ago, I guess, was the week or the day. So hi, if you're just tuning into this episode, there are at least 2 others you can listen to in my small limited viewer audience that I appreciate and admire and adore will tell you those episodes suck. No, I'm kidding. That's actually not what they said. But I will tell you those episodes suck. Please don't go watch them. Yes. What started from a couple episodes ago was actually something in the making from 2021, which at this point was 4 years ago, and future episodes will be paywalled posts. That's the point I'm trying to get to. I don't want to go on a whole wild tangent about it, because I want to get to the point before the point is gone. But yes, my original idea was when I went paywall, because that was something I also was planning when I initially started the Substack, because I did look into some things. I was like, okay, so for long-term growth, what am I looking at here? And when I went paywalled on the Substack, I had acquired enough of what I felt was enough like backlog, because I was gonna start posting every week anyway. And then I was like, okay, time to initiate the paywall part for older posts. And then I was like, in a little while, when I have a lot of older posts, I'll start the podcast. And it's all perfect timing, and I planned it just perfectly to align with when I'm releasing and finishing up my book. I was like, I need to be doing this. This is what I want to be doing. The writing, the public speaking, the podcasting, the blogging, the newsletter, the freelance journalism, like everything. Like, all of this is what I wanted to be doing with my life, not retail and warehouse and security and all this other stuff that I've done with my life, and call centers and work from home. And oh my God, I'm tired of it all. Like, I'm so sick and tired of being afraid of losing my fucking income because I might have a brain, like, headache episode spell. Because my TBI is like, hey, we're gonna give you really debilitating headaches for a while, and then you're gonna feel like shit. Oh, and by the way, we're not gonna tell you that it's hard to work with these because we don't know when these headaches are gonna happen. And then you like either have to like grin and bear it with chronic pain and go to work and work through it, and I have done that a lot with my life. It was really bad when I first started working for my income. Back, my first job was Toys R Us. Don't recommend. If it ever comes back, don't recommend. My second job was AMC. Movie theaters, yay, I'd rather work at Harkins. My third job was management at a Hot Topic, and my second job was management. I got into management pretty quickly because I was like, that's what I want to do if I'm supposed to be in retail. I want to be in management because I've seen how managers are, and I'm like, I think I can help make things better, maybe. I actually feel like I make things chronically worse, but that is a me problem, not a you problem. I'm working on that, I promise. But yeah, that's one of the subjects I wanted to get into is like the foundation of this and why this podcast exists now. Like it's been a plan in the making for a long time. Like this isn't I just decided to use this microphone that's available to me and my laptop and all these programs and figure them out. Like no, this was like I'm going to learn how to do this one day, and then I'm actually doing it when I said I would learn how to do it. Wow, I'm actually kind of proud of myself. I did that. Yay. You're all here for that moment. I feel like I should stop clapping for myself. That's weird. But yeah, that's the beginning and why you're all here today for episode 3. And I just want to say thank you again. Like actually, like it's so weird to like have the realizations of how interconnected we all are and like just how powerful the human sphere of humaning is. And seriously, if you're here today, if you were here for the others, if you read my writing, if you do anything, if you are alive, if you have a heartbeat, thank you. It is truly a magnificent miracle that we can be here at all. There are a lot of us who haven't made it, a lot of us who can't. And being alive here today means we can honor those people and those beings that were once in existence physically. Another topic, by the way, so you can star that in your, I don't know, mental notes of these episodes of mine. I think people keep mental notes. You keep mental notes, right? Feel free to answer in the comment sections anytime I have a non-rhetorical or rhetorical question. I would like that actually very much if you would. I do anxiously check my notifications because there are some reasons that I go to therapy. And yep, let's just say that my telecommunications and my therapist are very in tune with each other. And I am anxious quite a bit, and I quite often check my notifications, so I try to respond to as many comments as my mental online social battery will allow. Which, by the way, I have found that social batteries are different than physical in-person batteries. And you have a lot of different batteries. Or at least I have a lot of different batteries. And they all need charging with different types of things. Being a human sucks sometimes. Because once you realize that and you think about it in computer terms, you're like, well, I am just like a sim in a simulation somewhere, aren't I? I need my social battery fixed on all levels. In-person social, online social, other social. I guess there's other types of socials. Yes, actually there are, because you also have like certain types of relationships with people. Wow. Stay tuned for future podcast episode coming near you soon. I should be taking notes, and I'm not. I actually had like a notepad ready to take notes for this, and I haven't been taking notes. I've only been talking for literally 14 minutes straight. Wow. That's how do you do that? How is that possible? How can you talk to yourself for things I ask myself all the time, I promise. I've answered that a few different times, believe it or not, but no answer is satisfying because it's like, this is nuts. This is crazy, but at the same time it's not, because tons of people do it. So is it nuts? Or do I just want to feel like it's nuts so it makes sense? A lot of questions there, a lot of answers, a lot to unpack. I'm gonna give you a minute to adjust, or there we go again, stuttering, of course. Maybe I'll get better at that the longer I podcast. Maybe eventually we'll have like future episodes, like, I don't know, fucking 1000th. And I'll be like, by the way, guys, I no longer stutter. I was listening to a few old episodes, and at that point I'd stutter, and I'd be like, oh God, why do I try? But anyway, it's yeah, no, I think we're gonna get better at that. At least that's one of my hopes. Which brings me back to earlier's point of why I started this. Being in speech therapy at a young age, I kind of knew in like all my early like developmental therapies and things that regression is a possible thing, especially when you have like certain ailments like, autism, like brain things. Like there's like a lot of things that can contribute to someone maybe not performing as well as they once did. And I honestly, on some level, do believe there is a point where you can't go back, but I do also believe that miracles can happen. I mean, we see them all the freaking time. Maybe we see them all the time. I don't know. Have you seen any miracles lately? Like in person? Not like CGI filtered or anything, like actually real miracles. Future episode soon. But yeah, I believe that raw regression, there is a point at no return. I also do believe that it might take a lot more than we realize to get to the point of no return, and somewhere along the way, maybe somehow with the right like chemical reactions and bonds and just everything scientific that I don't feel like explaining in one breath. I think you can improve. I think there is a possibility for good change on all levels, like more than just choosing to be a better person kind of things, but like I think you can heal even if it doesn't go away. I think you can like survive. I think you can learn to thrive even with ailments, and or I guess not ailments, that's not really the right word. I'm not a dictionary. I just know a lot of words, and they don't always end up in the right places. I largely think of like speaking as like a puzzle. You kind of have to like see the right or set the right scene. So you have to like choose the right words to go in the right sentences with the right grammatical needs and nuances. And just when you're exhausted and also rapidly thinking because you've had 400 milligrams of caffeine, which is not always good for you. Wires get crossed. So bear with me. I'm sorry. This is going to be a hard 20 minutes or 40 minutes or however long this is. When I was in therapy growing up a lot, or in therapy a lot growing up. There we go. That's the right puzzle piece. I learned that regression is possible, and also you can improve and adapt honestly in ways that are astounding. I see it in stories all the time. I follow a lot of beneficial accounts across my social media, and doctors and things, psychologists, world-renowned surgeons and other things. I'm very interested in the medical world. But I knew that growing up I would need to continue to do things that would benefit my ability to speak and my ability to move and my ability to just exist. I knew that it would be a continuous thing, and that's not such a bad thing, I guess. Like, one of the things that I got into at an early age to help with my hands and my fine motor skills was beading, making necklaces and stuff. For years, I supplied everyone's Christmas and birthday presents through homemade means, and I was told by a lot of people that they were really appreciative and that those were better gifts than anything like I could have bought them, because I always felt bad that making things was like the only thing I could really do. But when you're a kid, like, what are you gonna do? And some of those pieces probably still exist today, actually, but looking back, I wasn't as proud of them as I probably should have been. And I'm actually kind of trying to get back into beading a little bit. So coming to a future website near you, I might have beading projects for sale if you want to gift them to your friends and family. I'm going to try to keep them at low costs, but also like not break myself. Accessible to both you and myself. How's that? So yeah, that will be a thing in the future. I've been planning on kind of doing, because I miss beading and I miss creating jewelry like that. And I've also been considering having like art events where people get together and can set up like tables and stuff of the art that they do, and other people can join or not, so they can learn and watch, or just a community kind of thing. Which is something I keep talking about, and this is kind of a good segue after I finish my point of therapy and speech and podcast. Doing this podcast, I'm hoping, helps me get better at communicating both with other people, so like when I have guests and things, both with like just using my voice and like projecting and enunciating and not stuttering as much, and not getting lost in my own thoughts, kind of keeping myself on track. That is something I am wanting to like kind of use this podcast for, and like the community interaction. But also I want this to kind of help people, like, as you see me struggle and like work through things and persevere, I want it to serve as kind of like a testimony for you that you can do it too. It may not feel like it, but there is some way that you can help you find out how to be a better you for you. That's my mission for me. I'm trying to be a better me for me, so I am a better me to other people. And if somehow my story can inspire you in some way, or motivate you, or at least fucking entertain you, like, I'm an idiot sometimes, a dork, a doofus. I'm not always put together and intellectual and smart, and I'm not always like good at things. I'm honestly, I would describe myself as pretty terrible at things. If you hear me muttering to myself sometimes while doing stuff and I'm not like doing a good job at it, you will hear me call myself an idiot quite a bit. I have called myself fucking dumbass, and it amuses me, because I'm like, I know you can be smarter than this, you fucking dumbass. You nitwit. I have a lot of slurs to myself. It's not exactly a bad thing, I promise. I have a handle on it. It's kind of like a inner monologue coach thing. Like, you're in football and your coach just wants you to be a better like player for your team and shit, and they're like, rah, what the fuck are you doing, blah 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 blah, like, like, I don't know, they're just really like in your face and all about it. And I kind of curated one of the voices of like self-help and self-talk, like to kind of just be that like not necessarily negative force that like pushes me to in bad places or bad brain places, but like or bad situations or bad brain places or whatever. You get the point. But it's like a voice that's like, hey, like you're not really doing a good job here right now. Let's take a moment to like step back and assess, like figure out what's going on. Get better, do better. I just want to be a better me for other people. Because I've seen some pretty dark and terrible choices people can make. And I hope by me being a better me and me trying to help other people be better thems, maybe, just maybe, as touched on in the last episode, we won't have all the, we won't have some of the reasons to heal from some of the choices people have made. The utopia that I think every human being wants. The ability to use their free will, not to harm or to hurt or to damage, but to experience and grow. You're simply not human if you don't want those things. But, yeah, I think we all want a form of utopia. And I hope I can help somehow make that dream a reality for us all. If one small voice can add to the giant bucket that is the 8 or 9 or 7 billion people that is on this earth, and hopefully one day in space, who knows? Damn it. I moved the mic. Then, cool. I can live a short or long life, and it was worth something. After everything. On to better topics. Earlier I mentioned a social battery. Well, one of the ways I'm trying to stretch that is also by being accountable for my own projects, and I was thinking I would like to increase how many times a week I write for the blog, but then I was like, I'm still working on the book a little bit, and then I was like, wait a second. Podcast. People like this more, I think, maybe, or they will like this more, or they won't have a choice to like this more because I will end up doing this more. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to stick with the 2 times a week writing across the 3 to 4 blogs. The 4th blog, some of you may know, is more of a creative project. If you are under the age of 21, please don't follow it. But also, this is the internet, and you're going to do whatever you want. Be weary. It's no different than what I used to see when I was a child on HBO after hours, but I also had insomnia, so don't be like me. Do not do that. It's not good for you. It's a learning experience, but it's not good for you. Take my experiences as you may. There is a lot of them. Every human being has a lot of experience. Being alive is an experiment in experience. My social battery is what it is, and my writing schedule keeps me, or my writing ability kind of keeps me like, there's nothing social about my writing, so I could in theory do that more, but that's a lot of sitting in front of a keyboard or with a pen and paper, mostly a keyboard, digital age, easier to read, especially when you type fast. But yeah, podcast episodes will be 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes there'll be a 1 episode week. That's how depends on how I'm feeling and how busy, but it is going to be 2 to 3 times a week. A 30 to an hour or 30-minute to an hour long episode is pretty much nothing, especially if you just record straight through, and I haven't figured out how to pause this, so I kind of have to record straight through. I can't stop. Someone teach me how to use these programs, please. No, I'm kidding. I'll figure it out. I've been doing some research and it's working out. I actually have something I want to show you guys today later with the Substack thing, as I mentioned earlier. And, I didn't plan where I was going to do all the different talking things, but we're gonna go ahead and do this. And we're gonna go here. Ignore the desktop, please. And we're gonna go here. This is the About page link to my Substack. The original Substack, the OG, the first one. This is if you are not a subscriber. And we're going to go ahead and pretend we are. And we'll just use that. Dang it, we can't do it that way. I'll have to create a pseudo email or some crap later. But more or less, if you get a link, like a random link, 1 second, ignore the desktop, ignore the OBS. If you get a random link, say from my social medias, like if you go on my stories, or you somehow manage to copy and paste it from TikTok, or sign up to the emails for free. Let's see. Trying to think how I wanted to do this and if I want to show you an upcoming post or a later post. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna do it this way. Me talking to myself, isn't it lovely? I'm gonna add that up. Okay. So say you found a link to one of my posts. It's gonna show up kind of like this. You'll get something like this. This is just on the desktop. I think it looks different if you are on mobile, coming from email, coming from a direct link. Like, I haven't really tested it in all the ways. So I actually want to extend a favor to viewers. If you find me on my socials and you end up subscribing, go ahead and send me screen recordings or screenshots of how things look. Oh yeah, this is actually a good one to read. It's not paywalled and it's not going to be because it's like an about thing. Do you like my little emoji? I was like, is there a way to like make this, in air quotes, marketing friendly? And I was like, how about an emoji? I guess emojis work for marketing friendly things, right? Right? Ignore that. Ignore that. Sorry. I decided to use OBS because I can do things like that. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out, I promise. So in the next few episodes, you might see some more different things, and you might even see like an insane amount of progress. And if you're like, whoa, what happened? Just know I've been researching a lot. And if you could see my facial reaction, you'd probably be a little afraid of me. I'm sorry. But yeah, I kind of wanted to like just give you a glimpse into the world of what this Substack looks like, because what I'm trying to do is, as mentioned earlier, like having a chronic pain thing, like an illness thing with a traumatic brain injury and like autism and ADHD, it's really hard to work a standard 40 to 80 an hour a week job. And trust me, I have done it. I have done it while dying. I have done it while doing everything else. But it's disheartening when you're threatened with lack of pay or lack of hours, and all you really want to do and all you've wanted to do since you were a child was write and publicly speak and help other people and just talk to people and be an author and just spend your world creating, because most of the beginning part of your life was destruction. And I don't know. I am finally taking the plunge. It's not easy. I may make it look easy, and as I said before, I am sorry if I do. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. So, the point I'm getting at, sorry, is, God, I hate doing this part. It's uncomfortable. Hands sweaty. But, subscribe for $30 a year to one of the blogs. If you can. You don't have to. Doing it for free is honestly just as fine. But the $30 a year would help, and I have this thing for each of the subscription tiers that are paying where you'll get comps for the other blogs. So instead of paying like $5 or $30 a year, like $5 a month or $30 a year for all the other blogs, you'll be paying like just for one blog and then get all the others. So you'll be able to like comment on the blogs and see all of the paywall, which I'll be talking about in future episodes on the podcast, which I guess makes that part less enticing. But the enticing part, I guess, should be the support part, I think, and the free merch, which in the later part of the year, so my birth month is in September, and then like the holidays are after that. In the later part of the year and in like late winter, early spring of 2026, I'm going to have merch. That's like the thing I'm going to ask for my birthday from family and friends and stuff, is like money toward my merch stuff, because I'm going to be putting some money down toward it to like get some merch out there finally, because I've been talking about that for years, and I told myself that 2025 was going to be the year that I do it, and I am going to do it, just in the later part, not in the early part like I wanted to. And there's a lot going on. I have a lot of moving pieces right now, so I'm trying to keep that in my scope. But yeah, subscribing for a year will definitely get you free merch. We can work out the details, but I'm giving you a thumbs up. You can do with that as you will. Subscribe for free. Don't subscribe for $30 a year. That part would help me and the both of us out quite a bit. And then yay, I'm gonna stop talking about this now because it's not fun. When I first started creating the brand, growing up, I always kind of liked the idea of community, and I think one of the things that was really obvious to me after going through everything I went through was that community is an essential part of human nature and like humanity in itself. Humans need each other. We need each other to explore ideas with, to create with, to get better with, because there is a lot of power in being alone with yourself and sitting with your own thoughts and like isolation and like the self kind of journey thing. I am well aware of that. I have spent at least 75% of my life alone with my thoughts. It's hell sometimes, but there is a beauty to it, and there is a need to it. But there also is, just as important, if not a little bit more important than self-isolation, a need for other people. We are not entirely solitary creatures, and I probably said the wrong word. I know I went over this one time with myself, and I'll figure it out. I was able to learn how to spell Wednesday when I was a child. I'll be able to figure out how to pronounce that and what word is the right word. But we are not creatures meant to be alone with ourselves all the time. It is a need. It is a fundamental need for people. Some people more than others. They need more alone time than others. But we'll get to social batteries and more at another time for sure. Growing up, I always knew community was important. And one of the things, and honestly, I kind of forgot that I used to do this because, one, I've been focusing on a lot of other things in my life. And two, I kind of used to think it was just a normal thing everybody did, but I don't know anymore if how normal it actually was, which further adds to my weirdness over my life. Yay. I used to be the self-proclaimed welcome community. So the house that I lived in for almost all of my life, complicated story there, we'll talk about that another time, was the same house for 21 years. And I saw a lot of people come and go in that neighborhood, especially when the 2008, 2009 like housing market crisis happened. That was wow. I learned a lot those 2 years about that through the people that came and went, and like how houses that were in people's families for years just ended up being for rent somehow all of a sudden. Yeah, there was a lot of things I was open to learning at the time, and if I could go back and talk about what is happening now, I wonder what little me would say. But I was like the self-proclaimed welcome community. I would go hang out with the neighbors on the weekends. If I saw them out, I'd always like chat with them. I wasn't really enough into baking at the time, but I always wanted to bring like little like trinkets and welcome gifts to people, mostly like baked goods and snacks, because trinkets can get messy. You don't want a whole bunch of trinkets lining your entire house. I should know. But yeah, the neighborhood thing was important to me. I always wanted people to feel like welcome, and like that they had like, someone in the neighborhood that could watch their yard for them, like make sure no one weird was hanging out when they were out of town, or hang out with their pets. Oftentimes, parents. There were sometimes parents that would come through. I would sometimes hang out with their kids, just like being a kid myself, and it was always kind of nice because I remember looking back and I like at the parents sometimes, and like they seemed more relaxed than when I first appeared, like giving them the time off a little bit just as someone new to the community, or like the family, like to their sphere. Like I guess kind of like it made me feel good that I was able to like see that relaxation happen. uh, and there were a lot of times that we talk about it, like how people don't interact like that anymore, and it's like becoming less and less of a thing. And I still want to do stuff like that. I still want to welcome people. Like I live in an apartment complex, and it pisses me off that the app we use, the community app, isn't even like it isn't even really used. It's like kind of set up to be a social media app almost, and it's not really used. I mean, management does delete most of the posts for some fucking reason. At least they delete mine. But I don't know. Like, why isn't this place more community? And is it because we're in a city? Is it because community, like where you live, just doesn't exist anymore? Like, there's a lot of like questions I don't have answers to when it comes to that. But community on all levels is important, and it's one of the reasons why I kind of like my Discord idea I set up, and why I like Storytellers Discord, as mentioned in a previous episode, and why I like some of the other Discord communities I've started dancing around in a little bit. And let's get back to that if we can. Community is so important, really. Like, it is. It's right now in this episode, I can't express how much I think of that and how much I think community could have helped my biological parents. If they had more people around them, I don't think they would have done, or more non-drug addicts around them, or also like people in the same kind of sphere. Like, if they had different people at their table, or were in and out of other circles of different people at their tables, like, would they have done some of the shit they did? I don't think so. I really don't. I really, yes, they were monsters, and I don't want to sound like I'm sympathizing with them, because that's not the fucking case. Holy fucking shit. If I'm ever accused of that, I'm probably gonna throw fucking hands with somebody, because that's, no. I want to think about what would have happened different for all people involved. Get better at things, be a better person. That's important to me. The truth is important to me. And yeah. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's just say that I think people won't make such monstrous choices, monstrous decisions, devastating decisions, if they have the right people in their corners telling them no, or setting the right example, or just existing in the right sphere. Like, and that does take a little work, I'm not gonna lie, but the work to avoid the potential conflict or like the negative narratives, I think that's worth it. Consider me biased, I guess, having been through insane levels of trauma. And then, I don't know, I guess I just strongly believe in community being a fundamental human need, and we could all stand to have more of it, more love, more community, more people, more like learning, more experience in our lives. With community being one of the things that's like important to me, that's like why I want to stress, like, join communities, even if you don't think it's for you, try it out. You might learn something, you might not. You might meet new people, you might not. Who knows? You don't know till you try. I have so many weird advices and motivational quotes saved into a folder titled Advice to the Wise. And it's just psychology and other tips and tricks across multiple boards. So some of those things I say kind of sound like that. I'm sorry, that's probably where they came from. Some of them are original, some of them are not. Some of them are original, like this one, with community being one of my cores, and the digital quill, and the media, and the photography, and the writing, and the everything. Time is also one of my cores. Time is important to everyone. We always talk about it. Oh no, we're running out of time. Oh no, I haven't done this in time. Oh no, time. Yeah, we do talk about it. And on some levels, it is a human concept. On others, it is not. Asterisk, future podcast episode. Hit the microphone again. Good job, Mars. But yes, time. It is very valuable as a resource. And I have always hated the idea of time being wasted. But the problem with time being wasted, as talked about in a future episode, in an inherently meaningless world, we put our meaning to, or our own meaning to things. There is probably like an overarching meaning, but we put our own meaning to things through our own perceptions, our own perspectives. And time I know what it means to other people, so I don't want to waste it, and that's why I want to learn how to get to the point with things faster. Some people don't care. Some people will yap with you until you're both gray in the face and the grass has died and we're in a different dystopian world. But others want you to get straight to the point. Most people want you to get straight to the point, especially in the business world. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And I'm failing at it miserably. I'm just tired and overwhelmed, and I'm reaching the points, because I've been at this almost an hour, where I'm starting to fade because the high of caffeine is coming down, and the energy, the adrenaline from anxiety and stress and fear is finally hitting me. So, trying to get to the point. When creating this, I wanted to have kind of a tagline, because growing up, I always heard, different taglines, like the weird assemblies that would come to my elementary schools, that one that I tag sometimes in my TikTok video because I actually really like how they did it. My best friend has a sweatshirt he's bought off of them, but sad is stay another day, and I created T.I.M.E before I learned about sad. And when I learned about sad, I was like, oh, this further affirms my belief that time is my new favorite tagline. And it took me a while to come up with the second part. I'll get to that in a minute. But the first part is, let me give you my time. And I actually have a Substack somewhere for that. The let me give you my time. Time stands for let me teach you, let me inspire you, let me motivate you, or at the very least, I'm going to start that over. Sorry. Ignore what the fuck I just said. And pardon my French. My apologies. I'm really failing at making this general audience friendly. Let me give you my time. Time stands for let me teach you, inspire you, motivate you, or at the very least, let me entertain you. Because I'm probably not going to do the other things, and that's okay. In a world full of entertainment, even if you hate me, at least let me entertain you, because I'd rather at least let you have a smile, even if it's out of hatred, than, I don't know, be upset and grumpy, or just, I'd rather leave a positive impact than a negative impact, but I can't ignore the fact that I am going to leave a negative impact, so I guess let me entertain you is more for me than you, but at the same time, please let me entertain you. If I can't teach you or inspire you or motivate you to do something for you or someone else, let me be funny. Let me be the comically inept person in your life or whatever. I don't care. Go ahead, laugh at me. There is nothing you could do to me that is worse than what I've already been through in my life. Go for it. Let me entertain you. It took me a long time for me to try to figure out what time meant for me, what I got out of giving you my time. And it came to me almost effortlessly when I actually sat down to do the time from me to you, let me give you my time, but what do I get out of you giving me, or you letting me give you my time? So what do I get from you giving me your time? And for you to give me your time as kind of like a give take, equal exchange, keeping the scales balanced kind of thing. When I give you my time, when I teach you or inspire you or motivate you or entertain you, you are giving me your time. You are helping me travel. You are helping me investigate. You're helping me make things or meet people. You're helping me experience and explore. So thank you for your time. Thank you for creating content. Thank you for breathing air. Thank you for taking up space. I have taken a lot of hikes into beautiful places the last couple of years, and I have seen other things through my own 2 feet and my own 2 eyeballs. And I've seen other people getting up to other things, and how beautiful it is that we can do that. As I've been saying, keep going, humans of Earth. We're coming to a close on the 3rd episode of the Digital Quill Podcast. I hope you learned something today. I hope I at least entertained you. I hope my audio works, even though I hit the microphone a couple of times. And I hope you liked the longest episode that is now recorded in my podcast. Thank you for you. Thank you for letting me share my time with you. Thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for existing. I still have people I need to reply to. I still have work to get to. Still have a lot I need to do, but I'm glad I can do this for both me and for you. That was way too poetic. I'm going to end this now. Goodbye, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Keep going, humans of Earth. We've got this.